Hey guys, M2 Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Marvel's The Watcher figure. This was an extremely popular and rare, hard to find Marvel Select figure that released years ago. I'm not even sure how many years ago at this point, but it was one that, you know, on the aftermarket you were going to be expected to pay really high prices. So Marvel Select did a reissue. They put up for pre-order, I think, kind of out of the blue, and everyone got excited and everything. It was like, it went up in, I think, May of last year. I think it's been a full year now, with an expected release of November. Well, November came and went. December, January, February, March, April, May. Here we are, finally. The Marvel Select with the Watcher reissue has finally started to hit comic shops. So because it's Diamond, so the Diamond distribution, they went to local comic shops first. I did hear that Dorkside Toys has already started to ship some orders. I don't think Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth has started to ship these out at all. I think so far right now it's comic shops that have started to receive these. So I popped into Fantastic Collectibles in Manteca, California on my way home from work today. I just wanted to pop in there. I knew they got this figure a few days ago, but I heard they only had 2 left. I wasn't expecting to find it, really. I haven't been there in a long time because it's hard for me to get out to Manteca to hit that shop up. But I went there today, and lo and behold, they had 1 left. So I actually picked up the last one, priced just right, you know, 30 bucks. A lot of other websites, you'll find it for 25. It was kind of that earlier Marvel Select pricing, you know, a year ago, but you know, depending on the shop, it might be 30 bucks. It might be even more. Someone commented on Instagram saying that their local comic shop is selling it for 60 bucks. You know, they probably got it in, looked at eBay sold listings and saw that people were paying hundreds of dollars before. Let's raise the price. So hopefully that's not going to be the case. I think once sites like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth start to ship out and receive their orders and begin shipping out, I think you'll start to see this. I don't want to say it's going to flood the market, but it will become abundant and easy to obtain, if that makes sense. So if it's something that you're looking for, you know, I think you're not going to have any issues. I would not overpay at this particular moment because if you have it pre-ordered somewhere, sit tight on it. I'm sure it's going to come. But this is a Marvel Select figure. I'm a Marvel Legends guy. Why do I have this figure? Well, at the time that I had pre-ordered it, I was excited because, hey, the Watcher figure, that's going to be really cool. I'm trying to think timeline-wise if the MCU Watcher Build-A-Figure had even been announced or revealed or anything like that. And I thought it would be, hey, you know what? It'd be cool to have a Watcher figure. It's going to scale well with Marvel Legends because a bigger character, a 7-inch scale figure, it's going to work with the other Marvel 6-inch figures. So we'll kind of see how that works. I'll compare with some figures and do all that. But I picked it up because, you know, I kind of wanted it just to have a Watcher figure. And then to review for you guys so you guys can see, you know, at the time that it released, I wasn't a collector. I definitely wasn't collecting Marvel Select figures, so it's one that this is going to hit a lot of newer collectors and everything, so it's going to be kind of exciting. But anyway, we got the big-ass packaging that is normal with Marvel Select. I mean, there's so much empty space in these packages usually. With the Watcher, there's not a whole lot of empty space, so that is pretty cool. We get the moon here that says the Watcher there. We get the artwork on the side of Uatu, the Watcher. Here on the back of the package, we get a couple, some artwork of Uatu. We get a look at the figure there. And then the bio reads, a member of the ancient and virtually immortal race known as the Watchers, Uatu has observed the Earth from his home base on the blue area of the moon for millennia. Though pledged to never interfere in Earth's events, Uatu found himself unable to maintain his oath when Galactus, the devourer of worlds, set his sights on Uatu's beloved adopted planet. For his part in repelling Galactus' invasion, as well as other breaches of his people's protocol, Uatu has come to be known as something of a renegade watcher, one who refuses to merely sit by and watch when his morals tell him otherwise. And then here it says this 7-inch scale action figure of the Watcher features multiple points of articulation and includes a diorama base sculpted by Phil Ramirez of Gentle Giant Studios. So that is pretty cool. So there it is. Let's get this bad boy out of the package. I know it's been long. Bear with me. Here we go. Okay, so switching up the background mid-review. Here is the Uatu, the Watcher Marvel Select figure out of the package. Now, a couple of things. The figure looks awesome. Looks really, really cool. The base is a cool concept. It's like a moon rock, right? Kind of the surface of the moon. And Uatu, the Watcher, he could just stand there and he can just kind of watch. And that's really all he can do, right? So there's some articulation to him, not a lot. I think the package, what did the package say? 20 points of articulation. I call major bullshit on that because, oh, it just says features multiple points of articulation. Excuse me, so not 20 points, because there ain't no way in hell there's 20 points of articulation, because this dude is super limited. The cool thing is he ain't got to do nothing but stand there and watch, right? He's the watcher. That's what he does. But there is no articulation whatsoever in the legs, and I was a little disappointed in that because I kind of thought maybe there would be. It doesn't really change a whole lot for me anyway, because, you know, I'm not posing figures around, doing all this and that. And a lot of you guys, you may not when it comes to the watcher, so it probably isn't an issue. The weird thing about it, though, what really throws me off is if you look at his left leg is really turned out, which is kind of odd, but it gets him to stand onto this base, and you kind of, you know, it's goes in there firm, but you kind of have to spread the legs out a little bit to kind of pose them in there. But it just sucks that there is no articulation whatsoever there, but it is what it is. Let's get in for a closer look so we can look at some of the cool details of the figure, and then we'll check out his limited articulation, because again, super limited, like very little. Very, very little. He's watching you. Okay, so before we get a closer look at Uatu, the Watcher, here's a look at the base. So it's just this little like half circle type base, and I mean, I don't know if it would really be the moon, but, you know, if you look at comic panel, might be how they would draw and color, you know, a portion of the moon, you know, where he's standing. But there's some pretty cool detail in there. So it's like a base, like pinkish plastic color, and then you get this wash over the whole thing, which provides, you know, some depth into the details of the sculpt of it. And it's really cool. You can see where his feet are going to go, and then you have the the pegs for the bottom of the feet peg holes there, so you could just stand and place. And again, you could see like the feet are all like bowed out. It's just a little bit odd, but it's a nice little detail. It'll help keep him balanced, because, you know, without being able to articulate his legs, he might fall over, although he can be a little sturdy, I guess. And so here we're looking at Uatu the Watcher. He got a big ass dome. If it almost feels like Barbie, like doll heads, how they're all big and like hollow. This isn't really soft though, or I mean, it is a little bit. It's hollow, but it's not like Barbie doll soft. Like, if for those that, you know, might have daughters and stuff, you know, they grew up playing with dolls and stuff, you probably get what I'm talking about. It almost feels like that, like it's hollow, but it's not as soft, but it's a little bit softer. But it does look really good. One thing that with this figure, some of the paint apps on there, is you could see like the different shading throughout his skin tone, which is really nice. It's kind of crazy and a little bit ugly in some places of his leg, like what the hell happened there, right? But in some areas of like the head sculpt, it just provides a little bit of shading in certain areas with the muscle definition. And it just works really well because it helps accentuate those sculpted details of the figure. So it looks really nice, if that makes sense. It's a little wonky, like here on his torso piece, this upper right at the bottom of his neck. It's a shiny plastic, which kind of takes away a little bit, but it's not terrible. But it just kind of looks a little off. Single jointed elbow. We get a hinge at the wrist, not even a swivel or anything like that. His skirt piece, a little bit of shading in there for some texture. We get some shading in the blue for this kind of this wraparound there, and you can see it just kind of goes in the back. A little bit of the gold trim of his outfit. A little silver paint there. So the details are nice here in this collar piece, black, and then the outside of it is blue. And we do get some nice shading in there, as you can see there, to bring out some of the texture details. The cape is nice because it's a thin, it's very pliable, so that is nice. It's not too heavy or anything to really weigh him down or anything like that. But just, yeah, overall it looks really, really good. I like the outline of his eyes. Came out looking really nice. But now let's see how his articulation is. And again, it's limited. Okay, so the Watcher, he gets a swivel for the head. Pivot, nah, not really. Up, no. Down, no. Just swivel. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. That's all he can do. The arms, however, we get some articulation, some decent stuff. So you can get the arm to go up pretty high. You could do a full rotation if you really tried and move the cape and this and that. You can't. I mean, it's kind of a pain in the ass, so you kind of get the swivel there of the shoulder. There is an upper bicep swivel, so hey, not bad, right? Single jointed elbow there, so just about 90 degrees. Okay, I'll take it. Not terrible. There is a swivel actually at the glove, which I did not know about until just now. So swivel at the glove, not the wrist, and then a single hinge at the hand, or where the wrist would be, goes back and then comes forward. So not terrible. It works for this figure. I don't really like the pinned hinge for a wrist, but I think on this, you know, it's gonna work because I don't know. It's a dated articulation, but it is also an older figure that's simply just being reissued. You know, it's not a repaint, it's not an update. It is straight up a reissue. So, you know, I guess that's kind of what we would expect. You know, with Marvel Select figures, some of the articulation is going to be limited already anywhere, where we might be used to certain Marvel Legends style articulation at the wrists and stuff. I just kind of have to get over that here. It's not terrible. The pins are pretty noticeable because that plastic color just doesn't match the paint of the gold gloves, but it's not too distracting, but it is there, just so you know. There is a waist swivel on this guy, and that's really going to be it. The legs do not have any articulation whatsoever. Like, it is just statue, like nothing, nothing, like nothing at all. So that kind of sucks, especially when you have the skirt. Like, oh, they put the slits in the skirt. Cool, you can move the legs. And no, we're not going to get anything out of that. It's strictly just going to be the swivel at the waist, and then the shoulder, the elbow, the glove, the head. So was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points of articulation on this guy. That's just not a lot for, you know, action figures. But again, the Watcher, you put him up on the top shelf, you put him on the base, and boom, you know, he's up on the moon and he's just watching what's going on, right? He ain't doing nothing. He can just watch over your collection, and it works. But again, I didn't know to expect that going in. But I guess I shouldn't have been surprised at the limited articulation, because this is a Marvel Select figure after all. And it is a reissue from a much older figure, so we're not going to get any kind of cool updates or anything like that. So my expectations were a little bit higher than they should have, and that's on me. But it's still a really cool figure to have in your collection, because who knows if Hasbro is going to give us a comic Uatu. You know, we have the MCU version, which is a very different take on the design of Uatu. I mean, I guess they keep some elements, of course, you know, the big bald head, the robe style with the cape and then the long collar piece. It's similar, but, you know, it's not the same. But here, surprisingly enough, that, you know, the Marvel Legends Uatu is massive, because, I mean, this is standing on the base, making him taller, and this puts them about the same height. The Marvel Select is still a little bit taller, so if we take that base away, and if you look at these two, the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure actually is then higher and taller than the Marvel Select. We're talking 7-inch scale, 6-inch scale. Now, it's because this isn't a comic, so it's not a true, like, one-to-one comparison that you would do, but it's interesting to kind of see, you know, how they did it. And we got a hell of a lot more points of articulation on this Build-A-Figure, even if it's pretty damn limited, because you got this big ass skirt piece and you got articulated legs in there. You can't do shit with the legs anyway, but look at that. I got a foot that can hinge, so that's pretty cool. And then a swivel at the elbow, or we didn't really get a swivel. I guess this arm doesn't have this, you know, same points of articulation, but we got a double elbow on the left. So it just kind of goes, you know, what your preference is going to be. For the MCU folks, hey, this Watcher, it's awesome to have. For those comic folks, this is going to be a must-have, regardless of its flaws, of its outdatedness. At the time that it was released, it was probably super awesome, amazing, sure, and it still looks great. And I don't want to take away from that. It's just, you know, if you expect a fully articulated figure, that's not what you're going to get with the Watcher. But then again, I just don't see Hasbro releasing a Watcher figure. I don't think they're going to do it. I think we got the Build-A-Figure, and they're going to call it good. So this is one that you definitely want to pick out. So if you had placed in a pre-order somewhere, you know, a full year ago now, stick with that pre-order. I'm sure it's going to come. But if you haven't, start hitting up those local comic shops, or if Entertainment Earth or somebody still has an available pre-order, make sure you get in. I'm remembering now, I did a pre-order Uatu through Amazon. Amazon canceled all the pre-orders at the time because, you know, there was no idea when they'd be coming. So I remember Amazon canceled all the orders. Don't know if Amazon will ever get it again, but I'll have a link in the video description below to Entertainment Earth. So if you can put in a pre-order, I would highly recommend they do it, because chances are they're going to get it in pretty soon. But let's see Uatu next to some Marvel Legends figures so you can kind of get a better look at that scale. Originally, I was going to have a joke like, oh, and here's the MCU Watcher, because, you know, bald robe, and I thought it was going to work, but then I forgot to do it, and now it doesn't really fit. But I'm going to throw this clip in there anyway, because I think it's still funny, even if I didn't do it. But enjoy. Okay, so in terms of scale, here we go. We have Marvel Legends standard figures. You know, let's go Bucky Cap. It doesn't get any more standard than that when you look at size comparison. So, you know, the Jim Lee Cyclops next to Uatu, you could see the height difference there. And then Wolverine being a little bit of a shorter figure, you can kind of get an idea there. The only other figure I have really available, Skull Crusher. Let's see. I'm trying to get my Reavers together because I have the rest of the Bone Breaker wave coming in soon. Hopefully I'll receive those Saturday, maybe Monday. So a little bit of a taller figure. Again, a Watcher's still going to tower over a majority of your Marvel Legends figures. I'm trying to finish up here and put him in like some cool dynamic pose, and I just can't. But he can like stick his arm out and almost like a point, but not quite a point. Again, it's just, I think for a lot of Marvel Select figures, they're display pieces and not, you know, something where you're going to pose around crazy. So when you think of it as a display figure, you know, with some posability to it, so not quite a statue, I think it could work really well. And I'm happy with it overall. I'm a little disappointed because I thought, you know, at least articulated legs. But, you know, for what he is, I think it works really well. Just, he stands there and he watches. And there you go. But you guys let me know down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on the Watcher figure? What are your plans? Are you getting it, passing on it? Maybe this review, you're not going to get it anymore, or you're still going to get it, want it even more? Let me know in the comments below. If you happen to pay top dollar for it before the reissue, I'm sorry you had to do that. A lot of times with these reissues, we just don't know if it's ever going to happen, and when it does happen, it usually comes out of nowhere and there's just no way of knowing. It's just kind of unfortunate and part of the collecting game. It's cool when some of these figures do get reissued though. I, for one, never hate when a company chooses to do something like that. So with Diamond Select Toys, you know, re-releasing certain Marvel Select figures, why not give people a chance to get the figure? Are you into collecting to collect the figures, or are you into collecting to collect the value of figures? And it's going to be different for everyone, really. So for those that collect for value, it sucks, it's unfortunate. But for those that collect for the love of the characters, for the love of the figures, for the love of collecting, it's awesome. It's a win for everybody, in my opinion. But that is just mine. You guys let me know maybe your thoughts on that. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.